Okay, so today we're going to start from a seated position. If you have a yoga block or a throw pillow or a magic circle, we'll use it a little bit today. So first we're going to start sitting upright, nice and tall through the spine, up through the crown of the head. Have the feet a little farther away than you would for your bridge so that you have a nice area to go up and over. We're going to do some breathing. So first just take a few breaths and feel your ribs expand. On your inhale and on your exhale, use those abdominals a little bit to help that diaphragm push the air out. Nice big inhale. And nice big exhale. Inhale and widen that rib cage. And exhale. Lengthen the spine. Next, we're going to go our nice inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to come over. Make sure you're not collapsing. Still think of that waistband reaching back to open up the lower back. And inhale, sit up tall. And for those that have osteopenia, osteoporosis, or anything else with your spine that isn't good for flexion, just reach from the sits bones. So for you, it'll be a little different. And then come back up into your tall shape. One more time like that. Inhale at the top and exhale over. Take a nice big inhale and exhale right there. Try to open up the back. And then inhale up. This next time we're going to roll down a bit. So exhale as you go over. Breathe into the back. Inhale up and curl down to the sacrum. You can just, even first time, just go right behind yourself, not all the way down. Inhale up and reach forward. Now, anybody that is not supposed to do flexion, you're going to inhale up and you're going to hinge back. You're going to inhale up. And you're going to reach long. So there's two options. Inhale up and down to the sacrum. Get it on the floor. Make each one a little bit bigger. And exhale over. Inhale up. One more to the sacrum. Get that sacrum down on the mat. See if you can get the whole sacrum. And inhale up and exhale forward. Next time we're going to come down to our waist for 3 times and all the way down to the waistband. So past the sacrum, get like as if that navel was trying to pin itself to the floor. Inhale up and tuck the tailbone. And roll to the waistband. Inhale to come up. And exhale over. Inhale up. Last time to the sacrum. To the waistband. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. Inhale up. And exhale over. Now while you're here, see that you have enough room behind you. We're going to roll down all the way. And sit up nice and tall. Bring the sits bones in front so that you can roll back. Get to the waistband and gently up the rib cage and come over. Bring the arms back. Make sure the arms aren't on the floor though. Reach those arms. Now as you do your first roll up of the day, it's okay if it's not perfect, but when you start, try to think of the ribs, lower ribs pushing into the mat to start that curve rather than pulling on your neck. Ready? Here we go. So you're going to start with that inhale. So just a little bit getting that curve going, and exhale, use the abs to come up. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands again to the front of the legs. I want you to hinge back. You can hold here if that's more comfortable, whichever is best for you. Now what I want you to try to do is I want you to try to bring that pubic bone to the navel, same as we do with pelvic clock, and then curl. Try not to do it with your torso. In other words, no bringing the chest. Let the chest hang back there and try to just dissociate the pelvis and move it. If you need a little assist on the up, use your arms, but you want to work towards being able to isolate that pelvis by itself. Let's do 2 more. Pubic bone towards the floor. And then curl back behind the sits bones. One more time. Pubic bone towards the floor. And roll behind. Now you can keep holding onto your legs if you want to help you down. We're going to come down. Good. We're going to go right into doing a few bridges. So here is where you can make use of that throw pillow. They're a little firmer than bed pillows, or you can use a block or a ring between your knees. And you can decide if you want to have it be the width or this width, right? If you want to work a little bit more on the inner thighs, which is what I'm going to do today. We're putting it on the narrower edge, but either is fine. Make sure you have your feet in front of your knees so they're not splayed out and making the knees fall internally. And same with the opposite, right? And just keep those knees and feet in line with your hip bone right there. Okay, so first we're going to do a few unarticulated bridges. So we'll warm up the glutes and hamstrings. So ready, take an inhale and lift up. And then right from here, you're going to try to come down. So trying to come down flat and hinge up and come down. One more time like that. Hinge up and pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down. Once again, if flexion is not good for your body, you're going to keep doing the unarticulated bridges. Otherwise, we're going to go into articulation. So you're going to inhale and shorten the space between your pubic bone and your navel. Roll up, and as you roll up, think of reaching those knees far away from you. So we're aiming for one line from our shoulders to our knees. Take an inhale at the top and roll down, separating one vertebra away from the prior. And don't stop at the waist. Go all the way through the sacrum, reaching those sits bones for the heels. And then shorten that space between pubic bone and navel. Roll on up, push those knees away. Bring those arms up over the chest. Reach them behind you. Don't let them hike up. Keep the shoulder blades down the back, but reach the arms away. Take a lift in the hips if you can. Now, as we roll down, I want you to think of bringing the heels towards the buttocks and the sits bones towards the heels, even though the feet are not moving. Just a little extra activation. Bring those arms over the chest. We're going to do one more like that. So begin by bringing that pubic bone towards your navel. Roll up, reaching those knees away. Reach the arms back. Nice long line. Don't open that rib cage. Ribs are still lying nice and still. Take an inhale and exhale, thinking about those things. We're trying to separate the vertebrae, so go as slow as you can or as slow as you need to feel that. Think of reaching the sits bones for the heels and heel to the sits bones. Bring those arms back. Bring the arms just right over the chest and reach up to the ceiling. Feel them pull away from the floor. Now from the back of the body, pull those shoulder blades down. Let them be nice and wide. Lots of times people tend to close the hands off. We want to reach straight up over those shoulders and keep them there as you come back. So it's a little wider than you might think. And reach on up. One more time. And come back down. Good. Let's bring our arms down. We're going to do one more stretch before we go on to more ab work. So you're going to put, if you have a pillow or a block, you're going to put the block under your sacrum. Now be careful when you're doing that. Make sure that it feels like it's in the right place. If it's too high up, it's going to throw your ribs into open scissors, as they call it. And if it's too low down, you may feel like you're going to fall. But make sure that you don't have it. Another thing to try to feel is you don't want it to be right where your SI joint is, because the edge of the block might not feel comfortable. So just play with it. I basically think that where the ridge of the pelvic bone is basically where we want it. And then you want to be able to feel that now your hips are a little higher than your chest, which makes it a little bit easier to relax those ribs instead of letting them open up. And just let them relax, especially people that have hyperkyphosis, so a big curve in the upper back. It's hard when you're flat on the floor to keep that nice connection. And just take a few breaths there and try to see on your inhale if you can let that breath diaphragm come down, create pressure all the way around the body in the front, sides, and backs, and come and exhale. So bring your hands right around that waistband, fingertips in front, thumbs in back, and inhale and see if you can get those muscles all the way around, even in the back. Activate that QL, the Quadratus Lumborum, that connects the pelvis and the ribs. And exhale. Just two more like that. Inhale, trying to feel a little activation in the front and the back and the sides. So the whole abdominal corset is a little bit activated from the pressure that's created by the diaphragm dropping, and it pushes on all of the viscera, creating a little bit of expansion all the way around. And then release. Good. We're going to do a stretch for the hip flexor now, and then we'll go back to doing some more ab work. So you can keep one foot on the floor if that feels more stable for you. I personally like to hold that other knee. And then the hand of the leg that you're going to move, you're going to have it right on that same bone, and you're going to monitor whether that bone is trying to follow the leg. So you're going to just inch that leg out slowly, keeping the pelvis where it is. So we have it lifted so we can get a little extra stretch, more so than when it's flat on the floor. Although if you don't have anything to put under you, the floor is fine. And just take your time. If you feel that that's starting to drop, or you feel it's starting to roll a little bit out to the side, it's not going to be dramatic, so that's why I keep your hand here and try to really feel it. Wherever you get to, let yourself relax and take a few breaths. Try to think of that thigh bone reaching for the hamstrings, and the hamstrings reaching for the floor, letting the tissue stretch. So if you can't get it out all the way, don't worry. Just take a few breaths and try to relax the tissue, and then see if you can inch that foot out a little farther. The pelvis tends to like to roll, so think of those muscles that connect in the front across from right to left, transverses, and see if you can imagine those bones of the pelvis coming a little closer together. When they come together in the front, the back opens up a little. So just feel that. Try to continue to let the thigh bone reach for the floor. Make sure you're not opening up that rib cage. Keep it relaxed. And then slowly bring that foot back in. Bring your other foot down to the floor. And opposite leg. Again, monitor your hip and slowly walk it out, inch it out. Don't do it quickly. Any place along the way, if you need to stop And take a few breaths to relax that tissue. Go right ahead and slowly go to where you can. Monitoring that pelvis to not follow. Relaxing the thigh bone towards the hamstrings, hamstrings towards the floor. Let the rib cage relax into that negative space. And just take a few breaths there, seeing if you can release any tension. We are trying to stretch the psoas, which is one of the big hip, which is the hip flexor, but also think of it as it's also a lot of fascia that we're stretching right now. And so just take nice breaths and try to think of it in a very relaxing way. And then walk that back in, set that foot down. When you get here, just lift that pelvis up a little and take the block away. Good. Let's do a little bit more with our bridge. So you will either do your articulated or your straight up. One teacher I had used to call that the Golden Gate. I don't know why they gave it that name, but they did. You're going to come on up. Now bring that right leg up to the ceiling and reach it as low as you can, keeping the hip lifted. And flex that foot up. Reach it long and flex it up. Reach it long and flex it up. One more time, reach it long and flex it up. Now with the foot flex, reach up 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee, put that foot on the floor, and reestablish the height of your hips. And other leg, reach it up. Point the toe as you reach away. Flex that foot as you come up. I like to inhale as I go down and exhale as I come up, but you might prefer the opposite. So play with it. Let's do 4 more. And 3. And 2. Last one. Keep that foot flexed and pulse the hips up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend. Put it down. Lift those hips up a little higher. And then roll it all the way down. Through the back. Let's bring our hands to our skull. And we're just going to do 2 head lifts. So let the hands hold the head, let the head fall into the hands. And you're going to just reach that nose up to the ceiling. So try not to do anything with the neck. And come back down. And reach up. And come back down. Good. So next we're going to do chest lift. It's just going to be up to the shoulders. So inhale as you start, that nice lift as you just did before, and then exhale, come up. Reach those hands to the thighs. Come up a little higher. Release the hands. Bring them to the head and roll back down. 2 more like that. So first just lift the head, drop right there as you come up, reach and pull yourself up a little higher. Get those abs ready to hold and reach back to the head and roll down. Again, first it's the head, then drop and reach and release and head and roll down. One more time and up and curl, sliding those ribs towards the hips and hands to the legs. Pull yourself up a little higher. Release, hands to the head and come down. Next time we're going to stay up there. So it's not a big curl, but we're going to the shoulder blades. Ready? Head up, drop the ribs, slide them towards the hips, reach and come up. Try to hold there. We're going to come to one side and come to center. One side and come to center. One side and center. And up and center and reach. So we're reaching on a diagonal. Reach up and over. Up and over. One more time. Up and over. And up and over. Bring your hands back to your head and lower down. We're going to do one more. You're going to come up, drop those ribs, curl. Bring yourself up a little higher. Bring your hands to the side and bring your hands together and pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands to the side, hands to the head, and roll down. We're going to do a couple of full roll-ups now, and I can't explain why, but for a lot of people, when their feet are a little lifted, it's a little easier for them to not toss. And you know, when people get to that point where they have to throw their body. So you could try putting your feet on a block if you have one. Otherwise, we're just going to do it regular, but I have seen it work for people. So nice and long, let the ribs relax. You're going to inhale to start and exhale to come up. People that can't do flexion, just work from here in this range. You're going to do a flat back and you're going to come up. So you're just going to do a flat back, reach to the crown of the head, and up. Otherwise, we're going to do 2 more rolls all the way down and come up. Reach, keep that curve going nice and tall, and then curl down. Last time, reach. And nice and tall, and come down. Good. Bring your feet up. We're going to now just stretch the legs a little bit before we do, excuse me. Let's change that thought anyway. Have your arms out on the floor and bring those knees up to tabletop. Now let the hips fall over to the right. Just keep the shoulders on the mat and come to center. And to the left and come to center. Now this time I want you to pay attention to the body a little bit more. As you roll over, the hips are leading, then the rib cage comes off. As you exhale to return, pull the rib cage down and let the hips follow. As we inhale, the hips lead to go over. And as we come back, think of the ribs starting the action and let the hips follow. One more time like that. Over on the inhale. Then exhale, pull those ribs down. Last side like this, over. And exhale to return. One more time, over. Reach that top leg long. And come back up and fold. Now here, if your legs have a tendency to fall towards each other rather than keeping the distance between your knees, you can again use your block to keep that distance the same as you go. So that top leg doesn't fall in. and reach, and in. One more time. Roll over on an inhale, reach that leg. Exhale, ribs come down first. And over, and extend. The ribs are going to come down to the floor. Good. We're going to go into single leg circles. So let's first stretch our legs a little bit. So hold behind your thigh. We'll do a little hamstring stretch. So I like to flex the heel as I go up so that I get my calf as well. Release the lower leg and stretch it up and release. See if you can hold that thigh in place. Don't let it move away as you go. Ready? Heel up. Relax down. Reach up and point and flex and point and flex. Two more. Point and really flex. Point. Reach that heel up. And then do 4 circles in each direction using that ankle. And opposite way. Good. Point that foot and reach it long all the way down to the floor. And then we'll do that other leg. So reach the leg up. Try to figure out where your hamstrings really are, right? That's what I was trying to get at. If you have to pull away, then really see if you can start here instead of moving. Ready? So flex that heel up to the ceiling and relax it back down. And flex and release the lower leg. 2 more. Flex and release. And flex and release. Bring it back up. Flex that foot and point. So really reach the heel. Try to do this from the ankle. The toes when you point are the last thing. But we want to really get that ankle working. One more time. And then 4 circles in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just waking up. There's a lot of little bones in there, a lot of muscles. And then point. Keep reaching nice and long all the way down to the floor. Good. So if you can keep the legs straight on the leg that we're not working with, great. Otherwise, have the foot on the floor to give you more stability. If your foot is on the floor, you're obviously going to make a D, not a circle, because you can't with the leg there. Right now, we're just going to do 1 time going in the directions we're going to go. So bring that leg up over the hip. Make sure the hips are level. Make sure you're not hiking that side up to the waistband. Reach the sits bone long away from you and bring it over the body. Reach out. Try to make that leg a little bit longer. Make a little bit of space in that hip socket. And come center. Now the down we've already done is we were reaching away after our hamstring stretch. And bring it up. A little external rotation. Keep that hip down. Don't let it pop up. And reach out to your side. And come up to center. We're going to do 5 circles in each direction. So we'll start across the body, down to the foot, out to the side and up. Think of your reach the whole entire time. Trying to make a little bit more length in the tissue, a little bit more space in the hip socket. I think this is 5. Come to the top, a little external rotation. The sits bone reaches for the other foot. Make sure that hip isn't hiking up. Keep the hips on the floor. Out to the side and swoop it up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, swoop it up. Inhale and up. Last one. Inhale and swoop it up. Reach and reach all the way down to the floor. all the way. How long can you make that leg? Good. Let's bring that other leg up. Let's bring it across the body, attempting to keep the pelvis as level, and that hip on that side is going to come off a little, but really aiming to work the back of the body to keep it close to the floor. Bring it to center. Reach long away. Don't let that leg drop. Keep those muscles active as you're lengthening, and bring it back up. A little external rotation. Reach the sits bone for the other foot. Keep the pelvis level here. Definitely you do not want any rocking. Reach it long and come back to center. We'll start with the across the body, across, down, open and up. I don't know if I have enough room there. Open and up. I have to make it a little different. And exhale to return. Inhale and exhale. Last one this direction. Exhale. Good. Now let's go out to the side. Keep the pelvis stable, even if the circle has to be closer towards an upright, making your circle on the ceiling. It's more important that you keep that pelvis still. Last one. And reach all the way down to the floor. Good. Let's go into our hundreds now. Remember that for the hundreds, you can have your legs in tabletop, straight up to the ceiling, or out on a 45. If your neck starts to bother you, just hold your head with one hand. Otherwise, you're going to try to do it without. So arms up over the shoulders again. Reach up for the ceiling. Feel that U shape. Bring those scapula back to the floor. Bring the legs up to tabletop. And exhale as you come into your shape. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway there. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to play with your legs. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 3. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring those legs in. Put your hand on each knee and do little circles individually with your thighs. And then reverse your direction. And then put those feet down. Good. We're going to do a little out of order today. Where did I put my block? So if you have a block, let's put it underneath us again. And you're going to bring those legs straight up to the ceiling. I want you to feel what it feels like to split those legs. Bring them center. And what does it feel like to open them to the side? Open them to the side. Good. Good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called helicopter. You're going to do a scissor, and both legs go halfway around. And scissor, scissor, halfway around. And scissor, scissor, halfway around. And breathe whichever breath feels good to you. This is more a continuous motion. So as long as you're having a nice rhythm between your breath and your movement, we're good. Last set. And around. And last side. And around. Good. Let's bring those legs into our frog shape. So little diamond heels together. Reach those legs long on that diagonal and pull them back in. Try to get those inner thighs to touch and pull back in. And reach and in. If you want to play a little lower, you can do that, but make sure that the ribs don't start to pop up. Keep sliding that rib cage towards your pelvis. Do 2 more. Reach and reach. Good. Since we have our legs in turnout, let's do little beats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And come back down. Good. Lift up and remove that block. Little break there. At least it seems like a break to me. And we're going to go into the series of 5. So today we'll start with single leg stretch. Then we'll go to double leg stretch. Then we'll go to our scissors or hamstring pull. And then we'll do lower lift. I only like to do 6 lower lifts so that you can really pay attention to your form. No going so low that the ribs come off the floor and the lower back leaves the floor. You definitely need to have an imprint there. So only go as low as you can to keep that set steady. If the leg straight is too much weight, bend. If even that is too much, try doing 1 leg lower lift at a time rather than 2. So we're going to start by coming up, and one knee is coming towards you and the other's reaching away. And breathe. 5 more, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. For double leg, you can hold your head if you want to or not. Curl up and reach. Up, open, exhale, inhale. 2 more. Good. Reach one leg up and climb up that leg. Really let it help you. Keep the shoulders down and pulse it twice and change. Change. Pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse. 4 more sets. Pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse. And 3. Pulse, pulse. And 2. Pulse, pulse. Last one. Pulse, pulse. Legs up. Everybody's going to hold their head. Make sure you're not pulling really hard. Let it rest back. And you're going to go down, 2, 3, 4, and up on 1. And down, 2, 3, 4, and up on 1. And down, 2, 3, 4, and up on 1. Just 3 more. 2, 3, 4, and up. Last 2, 2, 3, 4, and up. Last 1, and up. Bring those legs back to single leg shape. Have those elbows at a 45 and reach across. Don't let that elbow come further. Use the obliques to get you closer to that knee. 5 more. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Come center. Roll down. Reach those arms and legs away from each other. Flex your heels. Reach the right hand and the left heel far away. Feel that nice stretch. Come down. Other side. Reach, reach, reach. And come down. Good. Let's do one more stretch, and then we'll sit up to do a little the different stuff. So you're going to let your knees fall over to the right. So just let them fall. Bring that left hand up over your head, and then turn your head towards that armpit, and then reach that top hip away from you towards your feet, opening up that lower back, stretching that hip. On your next exhale, come back to center. And then over to the other side, let the legs go first. Then lift the arm, reach it, but don't let that shoulder hike up. And turn towards that side. Now reach that top hip for the feet. Nice length. Nice big breaths. On your next exhale, come back to center. Let your arms relax. Bring your feet to the edges of your mat. Let one leg drop towards the other. If you have a hip replacement, please do not do this. And reach that knee away to get a stretch in the quad. And back up to center. Let the other knee fall over. Then reach that knee away to get a nice stretch in the top of the leg. And back up to center. Roll to your side and come to seated. Let's bring our feet together, legs together. And let's bring our arms into that nice goalpost position. Elbows wide, not hiking up, wide. Separate the scapula. We're going to rotate to the right with the pulse and then the left, making sure your feet don't shift around. Ready? Sit up nice and tall and pulse, pulse, return. Pulse, pulse, return. Try not to move the arms. It's the muscles around the torso that are moving you. The arms are just your framework. Pulse, 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 pulse. One more time. Pulse, 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 and come center. Now let's separate those legs and we'll do saw. So how I like to talk about saw is we are keeping our pelvis perpendicular. We are not trying to reach from our sits bones. We're trying to just articulate through everything else. When we rotate across, the back arm internally rotates, the front arm externally rotates. And when we're going to try to aim for the pinky with 2 pulses. Now as you come up, try to think of that back arm reaching away to pull you up and then come to the center. Okay, so rotate, pulse, pulse. Make sure you don't drop that head. It weighs a lot. Keep it in line with the spine. Pulse, pulse, and reach and up. And rotate, pulse, pulse, and reach it up. And rotate, pulse, pulse, reach and center, rotate, pulse, pulse, and reach and center, rotate, pulse, pulse, and reach and center, rotate, pulse, pulse, and reach and center. Good, bring those hands down. Now we're going to do a lateral stretch. And I want you, I'm going to check timing, sorry. Want you to sit whichever way is comfortable for your joints, right? The classic setup is in this shape. And again, if you have a block and this is a little bit uncomfortable on your knee, if you lift your hips up, it changes the angle of the knee joint, and for a lot of people it's more comfortable to be a little bit up to change that tight angle that it has to be when you're sitting down on the floor. So you're going to sit in any position, that one or this one, doesn't matter. Reach long. I'm going to do this, my knee's a little cranky. and reach over. And now reach up and over. Try to think of someone pulling your ribs up towards the corner where the ceiling and the wall come together to get a nice long line. It's natural to try to rotate. Try to think your back is on a wall and come up. We're going to do that again. So reach first. Nice big long curve, as if you still have a little ball or something underneath so you don't collapse too much on that side. Now what I want you to do is rotate towards that leg and then come over. Take a breath. Try to open up the thoracic spine in the back. And then again, come to your side and come up. If you're doing the W, change the way your legs are. If you're crisscross, again, change the way the legs are, which one is in front, so that we don't just stay on one side. One hand's down, other hand reaches out, making space in the scapula. Palm up, reach high, and then reach over. Nice long. Again, think about someone pulling your ribs back that way so we're not just collapsing over. Nice opening between the ribs. And then reach up. Reach out, widening the back. Reach the palm up, reach tall. From the sits bones to the fingertips. And now over. Breathe into that lung. Making sure you're not rotating yet. We are going to rotate, but that's next. And now rotate towards that leg and reach over. See if you can really try to direct your breath to the back of your lung to help open up. Back to the side and up. Good. Let's come to our side. You can choose which side you want to be on first. You're going to be careful that the hip isn't falling into the waist. So bring that hip away from you. You can use your hand to do that just to feel it, right? If we let it sink, it's now flat on the floor. When we push away, there's a little tiny space. Try to keep that space. Bring the feet up and bring the heels together. So we're going to do clamshell, but we're going to try to keep a little pressure in the heels. Close and open, close and open. Making sure not to roll back. We're trying to keep the pelvis and the shoulder girdle in line with each other as if our back was on the wall. And we don't want to be rolling back into the wall. 5 more, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Now this next one, if you have a hip replacement, I want you to bring the feet like this, knees in front of the hips, shin bone parallel to the front of the mat, and you're going to lift this way. For those that do not have a hip replacement, you're going to internally rotate and open. Internal rotation and open. Internal and open and in. And open and in. And open. 5 more. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Bring those legs down. Let's bring our knees in front of our hips and just lift that knee up to be in line with the hip. Now put your finger on your patella, on the kneecap, and just reach into it as you make little tiny circles. And reverse your direction. Good. And put that leg down. Let your legs lengthen, and you can either have them straight out or you can have them in that banana shape. But either way, we're going to lift both legs up and down and up and down and up. Just 2 more and up and up. Now keep those legs up. Reach the top leg up and down. Keep reaching it long away as you go up. Reach it long away as you come down. And reach. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Bring those heels together. Externally rotate and lift. And 2. And 3. And breathe. Keep reaching that leg away. And 3 more. And 2. And 1. Now bring that leg up about hip height, maybe a little bit higher. And again, little circles. Trying to keep the torso still. Sounds easy. This is actually hard. And reverse. Good, and down. Now everybody bring that bottom leg into the bent position. I like to call it kickstand. We're going to just do leg swings. We'll only do 6 and then we'll do 6 hot potatoes. So bring it to the front with a flex and a pulse and a back with a reach. Now if you like to do reciprocal arm, it's going opposite the leg. Make sure you're not going so far back that you have to open that rib cage. Keep that torso still. Let it support what's happening below. And last one, lost count. And then we're going to do our hot potato. So up and over, tap down, and tap back. Tap in front, and tap in back. Tap in front, and tap in back. Last 2, tap in front, tap in back. Last 1, and back. Good. And bring that leg in. So lie on your back and stretch out that hip, and then we'll go to the other side. Just join me when you're ready. So we're going to start today again on this side in clamshell. So the knees are not directly in front of the hips, they're a little further down. Today we're doing it with our feet up and rotate it out and put pressure into those heels. And then it's down and lift. Make sure you're lined up. We tend to like to go into a fetal position. Let the shoulders and the hips be lined up. 5 more. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Now next one, remember, if you have a hip replacement, you're going to do this one where it's nice and even, no torquing. Otherwise, we're going to do internal rotation and out. Internal rotation and out. And in. And out. And in. And out. And in. And out. And even if you can't get all the way a lot of rotation, it's still important because we lose internal rotation as we get older. 3 more, and 3, and 2, and 1. Now you are going to close and drop. Bring those knees right in front of the hip. Let the shin be parallel to the front of your mat. Same position we were in if you had a hip replacement. Bring that leg just in front of the hip, so same height. Put a little pressure on that kneecap and trying to extend that bone away from your hip. Do little circles. And then reverse your circle. Reverse that circle. And come down. Good. Let those legs lengthen. You can have them in front in the banana shape or straight. And just lift up. And 2. And 3. 2 more. 4. And 5. Good. Now hold them up and reach that top leg up. Keeping it parallel right now. And 3. and reach. Keep reaching long through the foot, long through the crown of the head. 2 more. Good. And then turn out, and again, and 2. In control. So we're not like throwing, try to control it the whole way. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Bring it about hip height and little circles. Keep it in parallel. And reverse. And come down. Bring that knee in front of the hip. So I like to call this kickstand. The other leg's going to be long. Try to make sure you're not arching in the lumbar. Lengthen that tailbone away. We're going to do our kicks. So it's a pulse and a reach, a little extension in the hip socket. Right? And reach. If you want to do your arm opposite, and reach. I like to exhale on the front. Lane likes to inhale on the front. So choose what you like. 2 more for your body. Just don't go so far front that you have to tuck and so far back that you have to open. Keep that torso still. Last one. Ready? And tap in the front and tap in the back and up and over in the middle and up and up and up. 3 more. And up and over. And 2. Up and over. And 1. Up and over. Good. Let's come down. Stretch out that hip. And then you'll meet me in quadruped. If your knees bother you, you can take your time stretching that hip, but if your knees bother you, get a little cushion or something to put under your knees so that is not an issue. So now everybody come to quadruped. Make sure that your knees are lined up with your wrists as far as where it is. You don't want to have them be too close together. It's okay if you have any sort of discomfort in the shoulder when the hands are closer together. Just widen them out. I always have my hands a little wider, close to the edges of my mat. Spread those fingers. Put pressure into the whole palm, not just the back where the wrist connection is, right? Rotate the arms out. So we're rotating them from the top of the shoulder bone. So the eye of the elbow should be facing that little L between the thumb and the index finger. Not more than that, not less than that. Try to keep that direction. Now try to pay attention to your back. Are you a little bit dropping in the lumbar? Lengthen that tailbone long away. Same up at top. We don't want to be dropping into the shoulder joint. Spread the scapula, spread the shoulder girdle in the front and in the back. Lift the back of the head a little towards the ceiling and then lengthen the crown of the head forward. Good. And now turn those toes under if you can. And we're just going to lift up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down. Don't let those toes go back. We're going to do that one more time. Connect first. Try to really feel all those connections. We want the head in line with the spine, not dropping. Also not like hyperflexion, right? Lift those ribs up. Connect with the back and the tailbone reaching long to help give length in the lumbar. Widen the shoulder girdle. And everything is all connected, front and back, all of the muscles around the body, and then just lift the knees. Activate everything else to hold. Don't let the hips change their position. And come back down. Good. Now we're going to do something nice and simple. You're going to just bend. I'll do the one that's closer to the camera. Bend one knee. Then you're going to let it drop out to the side and look for that foot and drop to the other side and look. So a little bit of lateral work and look. 2 more times and look. Last one and look. And back to center and down. Other leg and out to the side and then across. Out to the side and then across. You're trying to see that foot by using those lateral muscles. Last one and out and center and down. Give yourself a child's pose, not so much that you need it for your back, but let yourself roll out your wrists. Stretch them any way that's good for you. And then we're going to go back to quadruped one more time. So we're going to come into quadruped. Make sure you have that nice long spine, wide scapula. We always think of the back for the shoulder girdle, but don't forget you also have the front that helps to make part of that whole connection. It's not like the pelvis. And let's reach the right finger and the left toes. Oops, I don't have room. Away. And then bring them back and come back into your quadruped. Other side, try not to shift the torso. Keep it still. So you have this point first to make sure that you're nice and still. And then lift. And then down. We're going to go back to the first side. Reach. Make sure that torso is still. Lift. Now lift up higher. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. 6. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Toes and fingertips down. Come back in place. Solid. Reestablish all your points, fingertips and toes. Check there first. Make sure you're still. Make sure you haven't shifted one way or the other. And lift up. Keep pushing down into the hand and up through the torso so that shoulder's working for you. Reach. Reach. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes and fingertips down and come back in place. We're just going to do one more. So you're going to reach long. This time you're going to try to come under. Angry cat, bring that elbow to your knee and reach long. We'll only do 6. Come in and reach. So you're curling up as you're curling under. And reach. Last 2. And come in and long. Last 1. And long. Reach. Fingertips and toes down. Come back into your quadruped. Last side. So solid first. Feel the front and the back of the body working. Reach those fingertips and toes away. Make sure you haven't shifted. And reach up. And curl under. And reach long. Oh, I don't have room. I need a bigger space. And under. And long. And under. And long. I believe this is our 6th. Reach toes and fingertips. Come back in. Widen those knees to make your child's pose easier. Try to come back without immediately going into that tuck. Try to reach those sits bones back for as long as you can. And then bring those arms over to one side of the mat. Again, stretching the lateral side. And then bring the hands to center. And then bring the hands over to the other side. And back to center. And let's lie on our stomachs and we'll end with swimming. So let's get down. All right, let's first have our hands either in Sphinx, or I like to always have my hands crisscrossed in front of me. And let your head come down onto the mat. So here I want you to think of that pubic bone touching and pressing a little into the mat. Turn your legs out a little because when they're parallel, there's too much pressure on the kneecap. Roll the shoulder blades down the back. Right? Try to lift that belly button off of the floor, which will help keep that lumbar long. And you're just from there going to think of lifting from the back of the head and then reach through the crown. Try not to change the lower back. And come back down. This time you're going to try to bring the head and the arms up in the same fashion. So pubic bone down using the frontal lower abdominal muscles, not by squeezing the glutes. So reach down, lift the waistband, shoulder blades down towards the glutes, back of the head lifts, and then reach the head, crown of the head and the tailbone opposite directions, and lift up. And come down. The next time we'll open those arms and then we'll lift the legs and we'll go into swimming. So check all your markers first. Pubic bone down, lower abs are doing that work. Lift the waistband off the mat. Shoulder blades down the back. Crown of the head and tailbone are reaching in opposite directions to keep out of the lumbar. And then crown of the head reaches forward. Back of the head reaches towards the ceiling. Lift the legs, open those arms, and go into your swimming. And then come to your Superman, Superwoman. Try to lift that chest a little higher. Bring the hands under your shoulders. And once again, give yourself another child's pose. This time as you bring your hands over to one side, do that first. And then bend those elbows and you're going to rest your head on the palms. Now see if you can come over a little bit more in that position without lifting the shoulder up, and try to get a little stretch right through this area where the Quadratus Lumborum is. Lifting that waistband up towards the back so that we're not just collapsed. And unfold those arms and back to center. Then over to the other side. And bend those arms. Now see if you can come over a little farther. Sit into that opposite hip. Don't let it lift up. And reach, lifting the waistband towards the spine. Get a nice stretch. 2 more breaths. And then take yourself back to center. Lift your chest up. Curl your toes under. I'm not going to be able, you're not going to see me all the time, but you've done this a million times. So bring your feet under you. Make sure you're not having all your weight in your toes. Get it between the back and the front of the foot. And then gently roll all the way up. All the way nice and tall. And then I'll do it this way. You won't be able to see the top of me, but spread your toes out. And then just try to lift the heels up gently. And slowly back down. Try to control the ankles. Ready? Spread the toes. And push into the ball of the foot. And come up. And come down. Just one more time. Come up. This time bring your arms up. Balance. Come down and bend your knees. Thank you for joining us today. See you next time. Bye now.